Hi everybody, I hope you've enjoyed the story so far. We are already up to chapter 10. This chapter is called Preparations. Here we go. They decided to put the plan into action as quickly as possible. If they were going to recreate the photograph, they would need to get Ellen's grandmother out of the way again. Ellen practiced reasons Gran should leave the house in the mirror. "It's a lovely day, grandmother. I think you'd be doing your health some good if you went out for a very long walk." Her reflection looked as innocent as an angel. She tried it again in an even more angelic voice and decided she would cut the very long bit as it might sound suspicious. Ellen had been up since dawn, scouring the beach for sea glass and picking up purple and blue mussel shells and white and peach whelk shells. She'd found a fossil with an ammonite on it too, but she was keeping that to show to her mum and dad when they got back. Gran stood on the front doorstep looking out at the sea. "Lovely morning for it, Blackbeard," she said loudly. Ellen wondered what it was a lovely morning for. She supposed it was a lovely morning for lots of things. She reminded herself to focus on the task in hand. She sidled up to her grandmother. "Ooh, what a fantastic day, grandmother. A walk. You. Good walk." It didn't come out exactly as she'd planned. Chance would be a fine thing. Gran buttoned up her overcoat and grabbed the handle of her shopping bag on wheels. "I've got to get over to Aberglad to get some supplies. Food doesn't grow on trees, you know." "Well, some of it does," Ellen couldn't help replying. "You're right, but not in my garden." Her grandmother looked sorrowful. "Right, I'll be back before dark." "How long before dark?" Ellen panicked. "Last boat comes over as the sun goes down. I'll be on it. You keep the lights low here. Save electric." Gran started to make her way down the lane, then stopped. "You can come with me if you want to, if you're afraid of the dark." No. I'd much rather stay here. I'm not afraid, honestly." Ellen could feel her heart beating wildly in her throat. Gran smiled. "There's nothing to be afraid of here, as long as you're sure." "Absolutely." Ellen used her sweetest voice. "Just like your mother." The woman sauntered off, chuckling. She glanced back. "Might have a surprise for you when I come back." For a moment, Ellen thought her grandmother meant the garden, that she knew that they were going to have a surprise for her. Ellen panicked. Then she stopped herself. Gran probably meant a present from the market or something. She gave her grandmother's back a smile and went inside. Ellen shut the door, then spread her collection out on the kitchen table. She held a pale, smooth sea glass up to her eye, and the world went watery green. She inspected her other findings. Not long till Rowan would be here with some plants, and they could start. Ellen wondered whether the gold would be chunky coins or goblets encrusted with emeralds. Perhaps there would be some beautifully designed cutlasses that she could practice sword fighting with. She imagined herself sailing the seas and fighting off evil forces. There was a rapid knock at the door. Ellen ran to it. "Who is it?" she called through the wood. "It's me, Rowan." Ellen let out a sigh of relief and turned the handle. The sight before her was a huge surprise. Not only was Rowan there, with his arms full of CDs and balls of string, but Captain Evans stood with him, a spade in his hand. Nerys peered out from behind the most potted plants it was humanly possible to hold, and Sally, the woman Ellen had met on her first day in Aberglad, chased a couple of squawking hens up and down the lane. Captain Beaky made a noise like a door squeaking by way of hello. "We wanted to help," Captain Evans blurted out. "We thought it was such a nice thing to do, sorting out the old boots garden. We thought we'd give you a hand. We had to hide from the battle axe down by the beach so she wouldn't spot us. It was a bit hairy, I can tell you. I've got seeds for the vegetable patch, and I've paid someone to run my boat today." And I've got flowers, Neris said from behind her armful of pots, getting a petal stuck in her mouth. And I've brought hens for free-range eggs, Sally called, holding one hen nestled under her arm as she tried to catch the other. Ellen looked slyly at Rowan. He gave a small, surreptitious shake of his head. Then they didn't know about the treasure. They'd believed the story of just trying to help. Let's get to work then. Captain Evans blustered into the house, pranging the salted clock with his spade. It started ticking. Ah! Time for change, he exclaimed. They all went through to the kitchen. Good grief! What's that pong? Captain Evans said, waving his hand in front of his nose. Ellen pointed to the green gloop in embarrassment. I don't know what it is, but I am sorry. Ah, the island's fabulous ointment. You might think it's smelly, but it does a wonderful job of keeping skin healthy. This is a really well-known island recipe that only uses natural ingredients. It's like medicine for skin, Neris explained. It isn't some terrible spell to ward off evil spirits? Rowan asked, getting himself a kick from Ellen. Ha! No, Mrs. Thomas sells it to tourists on Aberglad. How else do you think she makes enough money to get by? Though, if you want the truth, I think she's making it in case your grandfather ever comes back, so she can still look the same. A sadness fell over the gathering. He's not coming back, Ellen whispered. My grandfather, he isn't ever coming back. Neris gave her a cuddle and kissed the crown of her head. No, she said softly. Come on, let's get on with this garden. They shuffled outside. Blimey, what a mess, Sally grumbled, the two hens wriggling for freedom in her arms. This is going to take some work. We'd better get a move on then. Captain Evans dug his spade into the ground. What's the plan, Ellen? They all stared at her. Even the hens stopped clucking and watched her. Captain Beaky wandered around as if he was making decisions on what he was going to tidy. Ellen wasn't used to being in charge, but there was no time to waste if they were going to get everything finished and find the riches. Well, that might be a good spot for the vegetable patch. Ellen tried to make her voice sound stronger than she felt. Then maybe the plants could go around here. She pointed at the borders of the garden. Everyone nodded. Perhaps the hens could live in this part of the garden where they have sun and shade and can run around lots. Brilliant, Sally said. They love it. I'll just move all this rubbish away in the wheelbarrow first. I'll get to work digging the garden. Captain Evans started on the vegetable patch. And I'll get these plants bedded in. Neris winked at Ellen. Good job, Ellen. Thanks. Ellen blushed. We'll get on with the decorations. Rowan and Ellen sped into the kitchen and shut the door. I was afraid to say anything. I'm completely bursting with excitement, Rowan began loudly, then changed his voice to a tiny whisper. I thought that if I opened my mouth, I'd just scream out, treasure! And then we'd be completely scuppered. I'm no good at secrets. That's why everyone is here. I just had to tell some people. He was crestfallen, and Ellen took pity on him. You won't have to keep it quiet for too long. With this much help, the magic will work all the quicker. We need to get those decorations done. Bowls for water. Check. Rowan started to fill the bowls with water from the tap. We can tell that lot that they're for the birds to drink. I've got shells to make garlands to hang in the trees. They just need to be threaded onto this. Ellen showed Rowan pieces of string and a needle. I only picked up ones with holes in them to make it easy. Good thinking. What on earth is this for? He picked up the broken umbrella Ellen had seen stranded by the storm. For the sea glass, we're going to hook the handle to a branch and tie sea glass to it in these little nets I found on the beach. That's brilliant. Rowan admired her design. Let's get on with it. We have to get everything finished and this lot gone before Grandmother gets back and ruins everything. There's no time to waste.